Hey y'all, welcome back. I was just doing my meditation, right? And um, this understanding of the parable of the 10 foolish virgins and the 10 wise virgins came to me. It was opened up to me. So I was enlightened about this particular parable. Now, I have been before, and the last time that I did do it, um, it was I related to cell phones and having juice, right? Having a charge, because you have some people, they phone always about to go dead, and and they always need to borrow a charger, right? So that video is up on my channel somewhere, but this one, I have a different understanding of it, so I wanted to share with y'all because it's like, whoa. But anyway, so as I was sitting here meditating, that parable came to mind, and the understanding is that the lamp. Okay, so if you're not familiar with the parable, it's going to be right before the parable of the talents, if I'm not mistaken. So it's Matthew chapter 25, and I think it starts at the beginning of 25, but I know it's right before verse 14. So you have to go and look that up. I might just post it down in the comments or something. But in this parable, it talks about 10 foolish virgins and 10 wise virgins, and they were preparing to go to a wedding, right? And to meet the bridegroom. And of course, we know the bridegroom would be Christ, uh, Yeshua, Jesus. I'm going to just say Christ because we're talking about the Christ consciousness, right? We're talking about the Christ mind, which again is Christ consciousness. So they were preparing to go meet the bridegroom, which is Christ, at the wedding. And if you really think about it, is like the wedding is like the rapture. And what I mean by the rapture is ascension, when you go to a higher level of Christ consciousness, because we level up, we go from level to level, right? So they were preparing to go to meet the bridegroom. So they went and they waited, right? And we don't know how much time passed, but enough time passed that their lamps began to get a little dim, right? So, as the text states, the wise virgins, the 10 wise virgins, they took their lamp already filled with oil, and they took extra oil. Like, they took extra oil. So they had oil within their lamp, which is their soul, their avatar, their heart. They took the lamp already filled with oil, but then they had extra oil. They had a reservoir, reservoir. There we go. Reservoir. Which a reservoir is a place where you store up something, right? It's like the backup. So they had extra oil. Whereas the 10 foolish virgins, they only took the oil that was in their lamp. So as they waited for the bridegroom to come to open the door so that they could go into the wedding, their lamps began to go dim. Now the wise women, the wise virgins, they lamp wasn't going dim. If they seen it was going dim, they dipped into that reservoir and refueled, replenished, restored their lamps with oil. Whereas the foolish virgins, they didn't have no backup. All they had was in their lamp. So let me break it down for you, right? So we already established that the lamp is like, you know how they say the eyes are the lamp to the soul, right? The eyes the lamp to the soul. Um the oil the oil would be hope. The oil would be love. The oil would be the hard work that you put in when you going through these transformations and changes, when you learning these lessons, when you taking the time out to pray and meditate and spend time with the Most High, when you're gaining that knowledge and wisdom, when you're being obedient to what the Most High is leading you to do. You're doing the work. You're bearing your cross. As painful and as hard as it may get sometimes, you bearing that cross. You putting in that work. And it don't always feel good, but guess what? You storing up oil for yourself. So anytime that things get hard and you feel yourself losing hope or your oil is getting a little damp, you have a reservoir of oil that you can go to and replenish and restore yourself. And what do I mean by that? When you get through something that was really hard for you and it was painful, and before that experience, you didn't think you could survive something like that. You didn't think that you could bear something like that. And you realize how strong you were to have went through something like that. So you put in that work. You learned that lesson. You moved on from it, and you have joy from within because you realize you're stronger than what you thought you were. And now you're wiser than you were before. And you can look back and say, well, I got through that. And this, that, and that happened for me. And things have been better since then. I'm better for it. So you're drawing, as you're doing that, you're drawing from that reservoir of oil and replenishing and restoring yourself and brightening that light that's in your lamp. So your light don't go dim because you have oil. You have things that you can look back on and say, I survived that. And when this happened, God made sure that this was in place, this was in place, this was in place. And even though it was hard, even though I cried a many a nights, I got through it and look where I am now. That was the oil. They like, look where I am now. So they had something to draw from. The foolish virgins, the foolish virgins are the ones who don't bear their cross. They just want to look the part. They just, it's surface level for them. It's not really a lifestyle. It's just they want to go to the wedding. They want to ascend. They want to have the power. They want to have the benefits, but they not bearing their cross. They not putting in the work. They not learning the lessons. They not going through the process. They not detaching from things that are keeping them bound because it's too painful. They just don't want to do the work. So the oil that they have is the only oil that's within them. And guess where that oil came from? That oil came from other people. That oil, they got it from other people. So it's like, because they haven't allowed themselves to really go through anything because of fear or whatever it may be, they haven't recognized how strong they could be. They haven't really gained the wisdom from a personal experience. So they glean off of other people, and they, you can't really, you can borrow oil, but you can't borrow it if you ain't got none in return. So they was just asking people and taking oil from other people, watching videos and listening to the things that people say, and then taking it, using it, but not really. They just, quoting it, regurgitating it, repeating what they heard. But that's all the oil they got. They don't have a reservoir of oil. They don't have really any experiences that they can glean off of. They haven't taken the time out or chose to learn the lessons that would strengthen them, that would give them hope, that would even cause them to love themselves more or give them wisdom to keep moving forward. So they didn't have a reservoir of oil. They didn't put the work in. They didn't bear the cross. So the only oil they had was what they had been given from somebody else. So I gotta hurry up because I don't want the video to be too long. But anyway, so the 10 foolish virgins had a reservoir of oil. Again, what I mean by that is these 10 foolish virgins, they probably got oil from somebody else, right? At some point they did. Somebody gave them something, and guess what they did? they invested that oil. And what I mean by invest is they took that oil, they took that seed of that word of wisdom and knowledge that somebody gave them, and they planted it in the soil of their heart. And when they planted it in the soil of their hearts, they began to water that. They began to water it. They began to continuously speak life. They continue to do the work and bear their cross and move forward even when times got hard, even when they lost friends, even when they lost family, even when people was telling them they was crazy and they shouldn't do certain things. They moved forward anyway and pressed through the pain and the hurt of being rejected because people didn't understand the path that God had them on, but they pushed through it. And as they pushed through it, that was the watering. And they was tilling the soil and they was pruning and they was letting go and detaching from the things that were keeping them bound, from the things that was smothering them and choking them. They was detaching from those things. You hear me? And it's not easy, but they did it. And because they did it, they had a reservoir of oil that they can look back on and say, I did that. Man, that shit was hard, but I did that, and I'm here. And look what I've accomplished. So I can wait as long as I need to. I can do this journey. I can take this journey. I don't know when the bridegroom gonna come. I don't know when is next ascension gonna be. But I'm gonna be ready and I can do this journey and I can go through these lessons. And I know it's not gonna always be easy, but I can do it. The 10 foolish virgins, they wasn't about that life. They wanted to be about their life, but they wasn't about their life. They wasn't willing to put in the work. They wasn't willing to bear their cross. And when oil was given to them, they didn't invest it. They was like that one person with the talent that buried it in the earth and just left it there and didn't water it, didn't do nothing with it. They didn't get no interest off of it, right? And it kind of reminds me of the 10 foolish virgins, kind of remind me of the seed. If you haven't read the parable of the seed sowers, where the seed fell on like 4 different grounds, you should go and read that one. But the 10 foolish virgins remind me of the seed that fell on shallow ground. The seed that fell on shallow ground is sprang quickly. So in other words, when these 10 foolish virgins got this oil, they just followed in with the trend, so to speak, and they was talking the lingo and saying, the phrases that people say, and love and light, and God is good, and too blessed to be stressed, or whatever all the the little sayings are, whatever they'll be saying those, and just gleaming out from other people and repeating what they heard, but they haven't put in any work. They haven't really did any soul searching. They haven't really allowed themselves to go through the fire, to toil, to they haven't pruned anything. They hadn't been watering anything. They just been, getting from other people and just going. So they hadn't allowed anything to take root in their heart. So that was the shallow ground, because when the seed fell on shallow ground, it sprang quickly, but it didn't grow roots. It didn't get rooted in the ground down there where all the moisture was. So when the sun came up, when the sun came out, they withered and died because they weren't connected to the source, which was deep in the soil, where they could get moisture and water from in the event that it didn't rain. So the sunshine representing the hard times, the persecution, the rejection, the having to detach from things that you were once comfortable with, going into unknown territories, taking a road less traveled. That was the sunshine. The 10 foolish virgins, they was like that. They was like that seed sown on shallow ground. They sprang up when seeds were sown or oil was given to them, but they didn't allow it to take root. They just took it and ran with it. And when persecution, rejection, unfamiliar things happen, or when the loss of friends was a threat, they couldn't do it. That was the sunshine. So they withered. Their light began to dim. So, anywho, as the story goes, as the text goes, the bridegroom came. Finally, he came. And as the door was getting ready to open, the 10 wise virgins were standing there like they ready. They got their oil, their lamps is all bright and lit up, right? And here come the 10 foolish virgins saying, our lamps are almost out. Can you give us some of your oil? The 10 wise virgins said, no, we cannot give you any of our oil lest there not be enough for us. Go to where they sell it and buy you some oil. In other words, you need to go back. You need to learn your lessons. You need to put in the work. You need to bear your cross. You need to do what you got to do in order to store up some oil for yourself. I can't give you what I worked so hard for and what I've been preparing for, because if I give it to you, I may not have enough to take me. Once I cross into this door, I don't know what is there behind that door. I don't know what I'm going to have to face. Once the bridegroom opens this door and I enter in, I don't know what's on the other side of that door. No, I can't give you my oil because then I may not have enough for me. So you got to go back and you got to get your own. Wow. And now, in this day and age, in this season, in this year, we're in the age of Aquarius. There's information everywhere. And it's up to you to choose whether you're going to take that information, plant it in the soil of your heart, water it, till the soil, prune, do the work. It's up to you to put your blood, sweat, and tears into growing that thing, into allowing it to take root and going through the change and transformation of that and storing up oil for yourself. Man, I just want to share that with y'all. Don't be a foolish virgin. Go on and put the work in and store it for yourself oil, because you need that oil at each point. And the bridegroom don't always just come that one time. I know in the parable it speaks of just that one moment, but it's a continuous thing. You start your journey right, you learn your lessons, you grow, you heal, you get wiser, and then you get to go through another door. You get to go up to another level. Again, it's like climbing Jacob's ladder. You're going up, and you can think of that as doors. You get to this level, you do the work, you bear your cross, you learn, you grow, you heal, evolve, you get wiser. And then when the door opens, when it's time to ascend, you got enough oil and you got backup oil. So you get through this next door and it's unknown, things are new, and you like, well, I don't know. Whoa, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, I don't know if I'm going left or right. I don't know. It's like that when you ascend and you go to a new level and you're trying to figure out, okay, what do I do now? So on those days when you just like, man, like, I don't even really know who I am anymore right now. Like, well, I don't do this no more. I don't hang out with these kind of people no more. I don't really resonate with that particular idea or belief anymore. So, what is this place I'm in? And then at that moment, you can draw from your reservoir of oil, and you can draw off of the things that you already been through. You didn't know how those was going to work out, but look how they turned out and look where you are. Trust the process. You got the oil you need. You got hope. You got love. You got courage. You got wisdom. You got understanding. Just flow with it. Trust it. Be that wise virgin. Allow yourself to feel emotions. Allow yourself to go through the transformation and changes that's necessary in order for you to grow. Put in the work. Bear your cross so that you can have oil stored up. And then when it's time, when that door opens for ascension to go to the next level, you'll be ready. Don't be the foolish one who not ready, just out here just saying whatever, just saying what everybody's saying, but not putting in the work. Because you know what that remind me of? Again, it remind me of the Pharisees and Sadducees, because they was out there in the temple courts, and they was all dressed in their robes, and had the little head wrapping and stuff, looking all holier than thou, just looking good and clean. But on the inside, they was all kind of jacked up, dead on the inside. And even Yeshua told them it is not, when they said something about him not washing his hands. A lot of people, they dress up the outside and don't really deal with the inside. Don't really put in the work. They put in the work on the outside. That's the easy part. Anybody can throw on some makeup and put on a whole new face, get their hair done, lashes and all that. Go, get whatever clothes you want to get. You can dress up the outside. That's easy. But that inside, though, that takes some work. And you got to put that work in order to build your reservoir of oil, so that you can continuously light your lamp, refuel your lamp, restore and replenish your soul when the days are just hard, and you just feeling like you want to give up. But you can reach into that reservoir and pour some oil back into your lamp. Encourage yourself. You don't have to wait for somebody to come tell you, well, it's going to be okay. Just keep pressing. Just keep pushing. It's going to work out. Or, you won't have to wait for that moment. Not saying you shouldn't have people around like that, but in the event that there's nobody around to do those things, you can do it for yourself, because, again, you have this reservoir of oil stored up. And the moment you feel like your light is getting dim, your lamp is getting dim, you can reach into that reservoir and you just sit in meditation and think of all the things that you have survived and what you've been through and what you accomplished, and how much more wiser you are, and how much more courageous you are, how much more stronger you are. And you like, you know what, I could do this. I don't know what's going to happen now, but I know it's going to be good. And I know it's not going to be easy, but I know I'm going to get through it, because I done been through way worse. I done been through being homeless. I done been through having lack. I done been through losing friends. I done been through being talked about and rumors spread about me. I done been through being casted out from people because they thought I was different and I didn't think the same. I done been through all that. I could do this. Whatever it is, whatever is coming, I can do it. You can do it. You just got to make sure you store up that oil. And that takes work. That takes work. I'm going to leave it at that. It's Monday. Y'all have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.